Howdy people, 'tis I, Narwhal Cypher. Let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Why did I specify the Hedgehog in Sonic's name? That's because it's somewhat relevant to this video. Hedgehogs are well known for rolling into spiky balls. According to National Geographic, hedgehogs have a coat of stiff, sharp spines. If attacked, they will curl into a prickly and unappetizing ball that deters most predators. Likewise, Sonic can do the same. He can roll into a ball to evade the dangers of Eggman and his Badnik army by either jumping, spin dashing, or literally rolling into a ball. But what if Sonic didn't? What if he didn't roll into a ball? Would it be possible to get through the entire game with this limitation? Is it possible to beat the original Sonic the Hedgehog without curling into a ball? Now then, what qualifies as curling into a ball? Well, if I turn into a ball on command, such as by spin dashing or dash rolling, I must restart whatever act I'm on. The one exception to this rule is jumping. I need to jump in order to progress through this game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If a structure forces me into a ball state and I'm still in ball form afterwards, such as the S-tubes in Green Hill, that counts as curling into a ball and I have to find a way around it. But if I'm launched into the air in ball form due to jumping, such as the bumpers in Springyard Zone, it doesn't count against me. Everything else is allowed. All footage is from the mobile port of Sonic 1, and there are spoilers for the end of the game. I know it's weird to give a spoiler warning for a game that's almost 30 years old now, but I still care about spoilers, even for older games. If you don't want Sonic 1 spoiled for you, exit out of this video and go play it. Preferably the mobile port, since it's free and has save files. Alright, I've said everything I need to. Let's begin. Act 1 of Green Hill didn't have anything very noteworthy. I took the upper route to avoid the S-tube, but that's all. Act 1 was no problem. Act 2 was mostly the same. I was concerned about the swinging platform at the beginning, that I would get stuck in the pit below with no way of getting out. Thankfully, I just barely made it onto the platform. Barely. Just as I was about to finish the act, I passed through this S-tube. Then I realized I was going to have to find another way around. I tried to see if there was an upper route I could take, but to no avail. I ended up exploring the bottom route and I managed to pass right under the S-tube and advance to Act 3. I felt so proud when I first discovered this. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like killing two birds with one stone in the sense that A, I found a way around the S-tube, duh, and B, I got to explore more of Green Hill, since I usually pass right through the S-tube. All that aside, Act 2 is pretty easy. For Act 3, I did what I've been doing and took the high ground. Obi-Wan has taught me well. But while I was cruising, I found another S-tube. I tried to find a way around, and alas, I found these moving platforms, which allowed me to pass over the S-tube. From here, it was smooth sailing, until I dash rolled into a ring box. Oops. One restart later, everything was smooth sailing for real this time. So I finished up the level, beat the ever-so-easy boss, and finished Green Hill Zone. Marble Zone Act 1 is fairly uneventful. At the start I almost dash rolled, but I saved myself by jumping. Yeah. Act 2 was fairly uneventful as well, if not more so. The closest thing to a ball-related hazard in this act were these two caterkillars, but jumping on their heads was no problem at all. Act 3 was a little more interesting. I began by taking the main route rather than the secret path I'm so used to, just because I was curious. What did I find? Slow platforming. Lovely. However, looking at my footage, I found this, in which you need to dash roll or spin dash to break these blocks in the secret path and proceed. It is possible to squeeze through this gap without curling into a ball, but in doing so, you forfeit the ability to jump. Needless to say, I got super lucky, but that's just the beginning. A little further into the stage, in trying to avoid these spikes, I clipped through the wall next to the spikes, and I didn't even lose my shield. I don't know how this happened, but Dang it, is it funny. From here, I checked this room out, but it was swarming with bat brains. But one of the bat brains hit me, and with the power of invincibility frames, I walked right through the spikes of this spiked weight, thereby cheating what would have been inevitable death. Thank you, bat brain. You were the hero I needed, but you weren't the hero I deserved. The rest of the stage wasn't too bad, for the most part. I made it to the other ever so easy Robotnik boss, and with that, Marble Zone is behind us. And by us, I mean me. Okay, moving on to Spring Yard Zone. Act 1 didn't have anything to write home about, other than me having trouble with this section with the bumpers sprawled throughout the air. Eventually, the buzz bombers respawned in a good place, and I could move forward. Besides this, Act 1 was a breeze. Act 2 wasn't harder, but I got stuck a lot. Here's what went down. I fell down the half pipe. I went up high to nab an invincibility box. I fell off the stairs. I went back up to get the invincibility, and I got crushed. Great! I did it all over again. I didn't get crushed, and I got stuck on the bumper segment. Also great! Finally, to add insult to injury, I went up these platforms out of pure curiosity. I jumped off since they didn't lead anywhere, and I landed right on the spike ball. After all of that, I finally finished Act 2. Yikes. Act 3 treated me a little better, let's just say. I did some exploring just for the heck of it, but I didn't get very far. Later, I walked into the spike ball while trying to miss the crab meat's projectile.
Nuts.
Next, I went down this huge half pipe, broke open the 2 secret monitors, and the rest went swimmingly. After beating another easy Robotnik boss, Spring Yard Zone is complete. Following Spring Yard Zone is Labyrinth Zone, and Act 1 was pretty tame actually. Well, as tame as Labyrinth Zone can be. I didn't have any trouble with this act, other than the general labyrinth stuff I've come to expect. Act 1 was fine. Same goes for Act 2, other than this one mishap with an Orbinaut, where I unintentionally dash rolled in trying to duck under its projectiles. That was an oopsies on my part. Act 3 was simple enough as well, but I had so much trouble with the frickin' boss. I missed one jump and everything spiraled downhill from there. Inevitably, I got a game over, made this lovely noise, and started the act all over again. This didn't tick me off at all. Nope. I ultimately triumphed over this chasm. How do you say it? I swear, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it chasm? Chasm? Google tells me chasm, but a lot of people I've watched before say chasm. So, I don't know what to believe anymore. And Act 3, thus Labyrinth Zone as a whole, is no longer a problem. After that fiasco, I need a breather. Thankfully, Starlite Zone is here to satisfy that craving. Don't I sound dramatic? I began by frick it. I began by deciding to explore a bit, but, well, it didn't work. I had to take my regular route, and that was all fine and dandy. Other than one ramp that troubled me, Act 1 was manageable. Act 2 was... uncomplicated. Yes, that's the word. It consisted of some satisfying loops and me wanting to explore. So it's basically the same as Act 1. It was manageable, just like Act 1. Act 3 was mainly just me checking out the bottom route. Yeah. Everything was fine. I even nabbed some goodies along the way. Until I died. And that's no good. I got back to this part and I didn't die. Whoopee! Woohoo! Extra tubular. I briefly got stuck on a ramp, but I jumped and the fan pushed me onto the platform, so it all works out in the end. Yeah. Now it's time for the boss, and, you used the seesaws to hit Robotnik in ball form. Now this may seem problematic. In fact, in the footage, I stopped to think if I can even call the seesaws quote-unquote legal. But all the seesaws in the acts themselves don't send you flying in ball form. Only the ones in the boss room do that. And technically, the seesaws in general propel you upwards as a result of a jump. So it's a bit of a stretch, but the seesaws follow the rule of if I'm launched into the air in ball form due to jumping, such as the bumpers in Springyard Zone, it doesn't count against me. Therefore, the problem has been solved. But because I'm still kind of mixed on the situation, here's me being the Starlight boss using only the spiky balls Robotnik provides. With that said, the boss was easy, as per the usual, and Act 3 is finished. Next! Scrap Brain Zone! Alright, let's get it on. I've made it this far. Nothing will stop me now. Oh no. Basically, this contraption confines Sonic into a ball and releases him as such. Seeing as it is impossible to go over or below this thing from the left side, I have to declare that it is not possible to beat Sonic 1 without curling into a ball. However, I'm going to keep going because I don't care and I've made it this far, so I might as well finish. With that drama out of the way, how's the rest of Scrap Brain Act 1, huh? Easy. Well, kinda. The majority of the level is just me jumping from one tiny platform to another and constantly messing up. Besides that, Act 1 is somewhat accomplishable. Trust me, that's an actual word. Act 2 started out nice and simple, what with me continuously getting hit and all because I'm garbage. When I wasn't losing rings, I found this. A machine spouting electricity, and a gap too small for regular Sonic to fit through. I thought maybe there would be an upper route, and there was, but it was blocked off. With no other options, I chose to abuse invincibility frames to get through the electricity. Nothing special. And that was everything notable in Act 2. As far as the No Ball Challenge goes, this level isn't difficult. But the challenge in the stage itself, very much so difficult. Or I suck. I don't know, pick your poison. Like Labyrinth Zone before it, Act 3 of Scrap Brain is barren of any ball-related challenge. There's nothing to bring up that is anywhere close to fascinating. Okay, I cheated death twice. Once with this duo of swinging spike balls in the shortcut, and again when I nearly drowned at the end of the stage. But that's all there is to speak of. And that has nothing to do with the Nobel... Oh my gosh. That has nothing to do with the no ball challenge, but rather the anxiety that stems from the stage itself. Let's move on. Final Zone isn't at all difficult, but I couldn't simply spin dash from left to right to elude the energy balls anymore, so I had to fight the boss the way the devs initially intended. I thought I could walk to the ends of the room to dodge the energy balls, but nope, can't do that. I went with plan B and jumped in between the energy balls, and everything from there went smoothly. With Robotnik down, the game is done. Unfortunately, the no ball challenge is a no-go. It is not possible to beat Sonic 1 without curling into a ball at least once as Sonic. Emphasis on as Sonic. That section in Scrap Brain Act 1? Totally doable as Tails or Knuckles. Both of those characters could easily fly or climb over that troublesome contraption. But I wanted to play But I wanted to play Sonic 1 the way it was intended. As Sonic. Which is ironic since I brought up the fact that I used spin dash in the final boss and spin dashing wasn't a thing in Sonic 1, so I'm a hypocrite. Oh well. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a big ol' like if you did, and subscribe and ring that bell thing if you feel compelled to. I have links to my social media and pseudo-social media accounts in the description, so feel free to follow those. Also, please let me know if you want to see this challenge done for Sonic 2. I enjoyed doing this for Sonic 1, and I'd love to do this challenge for Sonic 2 as well. Even just one request is enough for me to do it. So please, let me know. Or just let me know of any other challenge ideas you have and I might do it. With all that said, stay safe and have a wonderful day. Farewell.